Now there they were going obviously for a shorter pass and maybe out of bounds and a long final field goal try. But now we will see well, no, Elway not going to take a chance. He'll just sit it out. And that is the end of the first half. Dan Reeves half summary. Very even, very defensive. And the one statistic that's not there, Kansas City, 60 yards penalized, none for Denver. So if you take the 60 yards off the 163, it would read Denver 112 and Kansas City 103. Each team with a turnover, and the Denver fumble recovery by Kragen, a touchdown of 17 yards, and that's the difference. 10-6 Denver as the Broncos. Treadwell kicks it off. It heads toward Todd McNair at the 7. And McNair dropped at the 24-yard line.
Excellent tactics by Denver in that kickoff. They kept that ball right along that right sideline as they kicked and cornered their man there, and there was nowhere for McNair to go. He couldn't come across the field. It was too far to go. So they've really kept Kansas City corralled down in that corner on every one of these kickoffs.
So the Chiefs with Steve Pelluer at quarterback go after that 4-point Denver lead. James Saxon back in the game, number 21, as is Herman Hurd, both shaken up in the first half. And it's Hurd driving off his own left guard to the 28-yard line. There's Steve DeBerg, the veteran quarterback. Now he has the signal relaying responsibility. You see in his arm, he has information taped, and Pelluer also looks at his arm where he has formations taped.
So they most likely, Dick, have a number 7 for each man, and they can just signaling that number. Joe Pendry, the coordinator, is calling those offensive plays.
Second down and 5. Hurd again. Trying to get outside and cannot at the 29-yard line. So Steve DeBerg will go to a tough call. 3rd and 4. Not at all happy that they got Steve Pelluer. He had hoped that he'd be the quarterback and share it with Ron Jaworski. Remember, they said we'll tag team it, the two veterans.
Well, DeBerg has been with a number of clubs already, starting with San Francisco. He's one of the most persistent players. And here are the people he's replaced. Look at those great athletes and great players.
They replaced him.
Oh, they've replaced him.
He says, right. You can be assured you're going to get a great player when you let me go. We'll take another look at that list after this play. 3rd down and a long 4. Pelluer from the shotgun. Got some running room and has a first down and more. Clever in the open field. They finally touch him down at the 47, 48-yard line. 14 yards.
Dennis Smith was sitting there in that lurk position. You'll see Dennis 49, Smith waiting back there for Pelluer, but Pelluer, look at this big hole in the middle, but Dennis Smith is going to make his big hit right there, and Pelluer outmaneuvers him.
And as they spotted out the 47-yard line, make it a 19-yard scramble.
Well, DeBerg's big problem, and speaking of Steve, is the difference between himself and Pelluer. All those people we saw mentioned have mobility and can move, and Steve is not the quickest footed man. Very accurate passer, not that quick.
Saxon protecting the ball, and well, he should, because he had no chance to get anywhere as Greg Kragen was right in the hole. Let's go back to the list of men that when DeBerg was the quarterback, and he's been good cement for a while. Then he left San Francisco when they got Montana. Denver got their use out of him because Elway came along. And Tampa Bay was Steve Young, then Testaverde, and now Steve Pelluer here. He's assured a great quarterback, he said, wherever he goes and then leaves.
Well, with us at San Francisco, we broke the NFL record for completions in a season. So he's had his moments of glory and success.
And now Saxon. So he's had 2 runs here since coming back from a first half injury, and does not seem solid on either.
Steve DeBerg is one of those very persistent people that believe in themselves. Somewhat short in certain phases of athletic ability, but he believes in himself, he's persistent, and he's willing to take any role in order to participate. His big problem has been he'd get flat-footed and throw through defensive linemen, not seeing his receivers, and his interceptions would pile up. But as far as an accurate passer, an intelligent person, outstanding. He wants to be a coach, which may mean there is a flaw somewhere in his makeup.
No one's perfect. On 3rd and 10, Pelluer It's McNair. And Todd McNair, an outstanding receiver out of the backfield. First down at the 37.
Well, what appeared to be a big factor going into the game was the pass rush of Denver. But at this point, Pelluer is meeting these people extremely well from the standpoint of feeling that rush, taking his time, and accurately throwing the ball. I didn't think he was going to be able to do this. Of course, it remains to be seen the rest of the game. But at this point, he's handling this thing very, very well.
Good move by McNair on the linebacker, Curtis. First down from the 38. Fake to Saxon. And the throw to Jonathan Hayes. And Tyrone Braxton forces the fumble. And here goes Atwater with Pelluer to beat. And Pelluer rides him down at the 33-yard line. And there are a lot of Denver fans here, and they love it.
Well, it was the wrong play for that defense, or vice versa. Denver is going to rotate their deep people. Pelluer's wearing the bootleg. We have a man to contain it. And then that corner sitting outside right there, and he never really had the ball.
Braxton forced the fumble, and the rookie from Arkansas, Atwater, picks it up, and Pelluer hanging tenaciously to the jersey, and Wade Phillips, the Bronco defensive coordinator, proud of his defense, and he was all ready to signal touchdown on that one. So it's 10-6, and the first possession now in the second half for the Broncos, and it's Humphrey to the 30-yard line before Chris Martin can make the tackle.
One thing as a ball carrier you don't want to do is get in a tugging match for the ball. If you feel a defender has got as much of that ball as you do, you work toward him. Don't try to pull the ball away, because either one of you could win. Just push toward him, and then they'll always give you the benefit of the doubt.
So as you feel pressure and someone, a defender has that ball, you just go right with the pressure.
Go right with him. Don't pull it away.
Second down.
Ooh, great shot.
Neil Smith, a #1 pick out of Nebraska, makes the defensive stop.
That was a delayed draw type play, and Smith took an inside charge and just took the play apart.
They feel this man could be a star, Smith, in his second year.
Smith's going to come right up inside here, and he basically is going to be unblocked because he gets inside of the tackle right there. So Baldinger wasn't ready for that inside move, and it really made a difference.
That's the kind of move that can force a fumble, but Humphrey alertly held on. It's 3rd and 7. There's that shovel pass to Sewell in the open. And down to the 12-yard line. First down, Denver. Beautifully executed. That's a great play out of that shotgun. You let that hard charge come in, and you just flip that shovel pass in front of them.
Well, in this particular case, Kansas City was in just the wrong defense. There was a big hole, so they could double down, pull a guard through the hole, and this man's going to overrun it, working toward Elway. So you see Thomas coming way up, thinking he's got Elway. There's the backside guard pulling and blocking, and Sewell working up the field.
So it wasn't out of the shotgun. From under center, Elway works that shovel pass. That was a favorite play with Reeves running it as a Dallas player for Tom Landry. In the flat, and Derek Thomas can't make the tackle, but slows up Bobby Humphrey. And it's little or no gain. Dino Hackett finally finished the job.
Apparently Denver thinks those kinds of things are going to beat an intense Kansas City defense that's really charging, really playing intense football. We just saw a shovel pass, that time a quick screen to the outside.
A loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 at the Kansas City 13. Clarence Kay and Pat Kelly, a pair of tight ends in now. Elway sends Jackson to the left. To Humphrey on the draw, and Humphrey to the 10, where his buddy from Alabama, Derek Thomas, and Dino Hackett make the tackle.
Well, the intensity of the Kansas City defense is just barely holding its own right now. They're playing with such intensity that they're holding Denver off. And the kinds of plays that'll hurt that intensity are your shovel pass, your screen, trick-type plays that take advantage of somebody fully committing himself.
Well, there's a guy fully committed, linebacker Hackett from Appalachian State. He prides himself in being a Jack Lambert type. I want to be tough. I want to be able to stop that run. Third down and 8. Incomplete. And a flag. Is there a flag down? The pressure on Elway right up the middle.
Well, we had both safeties blitzing up inside against that 4-receiver offense. Just not enough blockers to handle these people. Last week they destroyed Seattle with these blitzing defenses. I'm sure Elway thought he was going to throw the ball hot to his wide receiver before the blitz got to him, and he just couldn't throw an accurate pass.
Deron Cherry was applying the pressure. Treadwell tries the field goal and connects from 27 yards. So the fumble recovery led to a touchdown in the first half, and Atwater has set up a field goal early here in the second.
Wouldn't it be great if suddenly you were in charge of the annual swimsuit issue, deciding things like how the models pose and who gets the cover? And wouldn't it be great if the models brought beer? Really great beer, like Keystone, the fresh, cold filtered beer in a can that tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined can. And wouldn't it be great if later that day you all went bowling? Introducing Keystone and Keystone Light, bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Presenting the 1990 Mitsubishi Mighty Max. This new Mighty Max gives you more power and more standard equipment than any other pickup in its class. You'll have to be awfully loyal to your old truck not to get into the new Mitsubishi Mighty Max. Factory dealer incentives could save you up to $1,000.
From the ground up, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Hit the road, Jack, and if you don't like it, we'll buy 'em back.
Road Handler Treadlocks. Test them for 1,000 miles. If you don't agree they're the toughest tires you've owned, Sears will buy them back.
Hit the road, Jack.
Road Handler Treadlocks at Sears. Tough tires you can trust.
What you say?
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by new Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By Eveready. 100 years of meeting your power and safety needs. And by Mitsubishi. Bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
Oh, those turnovers, and that's been key to this game as Denver now up 13-6. Only one touchdown, that on defense. It comes down to Danny Copeland. And the Chiefs Plan B free agent, one of 17 selected by the Chiefs, takes it out to the 27-yard line. A touchdown lead for the Broncos, and they have scored 10 of their 13 points off turnovers. Now let's go back to the safety blitz of Cherry that
again, both
Elway.
safeties are up, coming inside hard. Elway wants to hit this man down the field, but he's not going to be open. So the blitzers are going to get there before he can throw an accurate pass. You can see it coming. He had no time to really drill in on his receiver because of his vision being cut off. Again, Kansas City's been doing that and getting away with it. They destroyed Seattle a week ago. Just destroyed it.
And now Steve Pelluer at the controls from the 27. Again, Christian Okoye, who is just 67 yards shy of 1,000 yards, has not played today and apparently will not play. James Saxon in his place across the 35 to the 36-yard line. There's Okoye from Azusa Pacific, who's had 6 100-yard games, had led the league by well over 100 yards coming into this one. The other scores. Miami is pulled within 3. There's apparently no trouble in Pittsburgh. And Detroit still pounding on Green Bay 24-3.
You notice that Washington has come back now as ahead of Philadelphia. Joe Gibbs, one of the great coaches in the game today.
2nd and 2.5. And Hurd caught in the backfield by Simon Fletcher, and he stops him for no gain. Here, it's 13-6. Let's check elsewhere to NFL Live in New York.
All right, Dick, you mentioned Miami creeping closer. Here's their first offensive play of the second half. Marino airs it out. 78-yard beauty to Mark Clayton over Bobby Humphrey. They had trailed at one point 20-3. They creep back to 20-17 early in the third. Back to Dick and Bill.
All right, Bob, 13-6 here at Arrowhead Stadium. And this enthusiastic sellout crowd, the third sellout of the year for Kansas City. They're starting to believe in what Schottenheimer's doing. Third down and 1 shotgun. Pelluer. He gets away from Brooks and is able to slide out to the first down at the 40-yard line. Dennison and Smith there to cover him.
Pelluer just uses his instincts and his quickness to avoid this, because he's really going to get somebody just totally unblocked coming straight up the field. It's going to be right here on his right-hand side. This is an unblocked man, and Pelluer is going to hold his ground and make the big move on it. But again, you wouldn't want to base an offense on this. Look at this, completely unblocked, and Pelluer gets an over-anxious defender to make a commitment, and then he beats him.
And he was one of the leading rushing quarterbacks in the league at Dallas last year, and he's tied with Saxon today. And there's Hurd breaking into the clear and was one man away from a touchdown. Tyrone Braxton saved it at the 46 of Denver.
Well, Hurd broke behind the blockers that time. Everybody's been massing up. Everyone's been massing up to make a play, and this time Hurd will break behind. You'll see people pull on this backside, but Hurd will take that ball right through here behind the backside of his blocking. Everybody's moving with it. He comes in behind the whole thing. That's good running instincts.
And a saving tackle by Braxton in the open field. Trailing 13-6, Kansas City and Denver territory. It appeared Kragen, yes, he did make contact, the center, as he lurched forward at the ball, and that'll be 5 yards apparently against the Broncos.
You know, Dick, this Kansas City team is most likely a year or probably
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty.
2 years away. But the intensity and all the concepts used and the coaching, you've got to think this is going to be a very successful franchise with Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer directing it.
You saw Dan Reeves arguing, and the loud cheer for a 5-yard penalty. Obviously, Kansas City fans noting that that's the first penalty against the Broncos today. 1st and 5 for Pelluer. We have Saxon and now Hurd lined up directly behind him. Emile Harry in motion. Hurd again left side. Gets to the 40-yard line, short a couple of yards of a first down. Greg Kragen sliding from that nose tackle position to get a piece of the action again. And what a game Kragen is having. A touchdown, 6 tackles, a sack, a pass defended.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer says this is the best defensive man they have from the standpoint of all-around sound football. So he's one of the best nose guards in football, but one of the best players on this team.
6'3" and 265 pounds. Greg Kragen. Second and a short 2. It's Saxon. A little delay, but it appears that he's able to duck in under the defensive pressure and does have the first down at the 37-yard line. Yes, he does. Time running out in the third quarter of this defensive struggle. Denver leading 13-6. The only touchdown of the game on a fumble recovery by the nose tackle Kragen of the Broncos. You mentioned with Bob Costas on NFL Live that with Okoye, had he played more football, had more experience, you think that he might play with that thigh bruise injury today?
Well, you have to condition your body to accept a certain amount of pain, especially a flesh-type injury. And Christian Okoye has not played that much football. And to learn how to play when your effectiveness is reduced dramatically and still be able to function is very difficult. He's still learning to play the game of football.
And Pelluer, the new quarterback, has to call a timeout.
The world thirsts for a car that is economical, yet fully equipped, basic, yet polished, practical, yet inspiring. Some may think such a car is only a mirage. It is. the award-winning Mitsubishi Mirage. Buy the special edition Mirage EXE and get air conditioning and AM/FM stereo cassette at no extra charge. Save over $1,000.
Don't be fooled by commercials where one battery company's toy outlasts the others. The fact is, Energizer was never invited to their playoffs because nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Stop the bunny, please.
And going and go.
I love the sound of the rain.
And I love the taste of your fresh fruit coffee.
Oh, thanks, but it's not fresh fruit. It's new Treadwell.
Like we said, nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and going.
Daddy, smell my flowers.
Oh, my sinuses. When sinus trouble strikes, reach for Nasatine. Only Nasatine has fast-acting mucinol. Watch as nasal...
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and going.
Top dragsters burn up the tracks at the NHRA Winston Finals of Drag Racing. Red hot rod action on NBC Sports World.
Well, understandably, with his success, Christian Okoye, number 35, has many nicknames. Big Mon, the Nigerian Nightmare, Cho-Cho, Okoye, the Destroyer. But he hasn't played today with that thigh bruise. First down after the timeout as Brewer straightens things and gives to Saxon up the middle. And James Saxon using his 215 pounds to drive to the 33-yard line. And a gain of 5 on first down. Michael Brooks, the linebacker from LSU, in on the stop.
Everything's happening to Kansas City's left. John Alt, Mark Eddick, and Mike Webster primarily are the guys that are taking people off that line of scrimmage. Also, they're going to play Roberts or Hayes at tight end to that side and get good results from them. So this is beginning to give a certain personality to this Kansas City team. Just hammering for that ball inside.
And using up the crowd pace as they do with Okoye. The quick pass this time outside to Harry, who takes a pounding after about a 3-yard gain from Wyman Henderson.
That ball was in the air too long.
Yeah, Wyman...
they better practice that one a little longer.
Henderson, had he been playing a little tighter, would have had a shot at an interception.
Yeah, that could have been another big turnover.
Quickie out, and Henderson closing in a hurry. It's 3rd and 1 after a painful 4-yard gain.
Well, I'm glad to see they're in this kind of a set with 2 tight ends going for it.
Pulling that guard and tackle on the left side. Addix and Alt, and driving for a first down goes Saxon inside the 25. Boy, that is a good line, isn't it, Bill?
It is an excellent blocking by Jonathan Hayes at tight end. Excellent blocking. Now you see Addix and Alt pulling cleanly. Great job by Hayes blocking, and they make that work. I'm sure glad to see that rather than jump right into a 4-receiver thing and try to throw a pass. The personality is to run. Now they've got to take advantage of it.
And they're in no hurry to get up a play in the final seconds of the 3rd quarter. There's some real decleaters, some blocks that are knocking defensive players right on their back. And that is the end of 3 quarters. Dan Reeves' defense, the difference. It's the Broncos, 13-6.
Astronomers tell us there won't be a total eclipse in America until the year 2017. They are very much mistaken. Introducing the Eclipse GS Turbo by Mitsubishi.
If you feel life's more interesting when you make a splash.
It's the right beer now.
If you feel a great beer starts with great water.
It's the right beer now.
Because you're the kind of person who likes to get to the bottom of things. Call for the Silver Bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
When the writers of Motor Trend took the Mitsubishi Galant out for testing, it was an intriguing new import. When they brought it back, it was Motor Trend Import Car of the Year.
Imagination, creation, application. At GTE, we know the power of people. At GTE, that power becomes an operator's voice when you need it most. Your company's telecommunications system. A nightlight for your child. One-to-one, person-to-person. GTE to you. It's the power of the human touch. And at GTE, the power is on.
Tuesday.
I'm going to take you.
A violent drug bust puts Gillespie's job on the line.
You've been asked to put your cell phone suspension.
In the heat of the night. Then you'll call it the most compelling hour of drama this year.
I know she's dying.
A stirring story of strength and love on Midnight Caller, following Matlock and Heat of the Night Tuesday.
To the fourth quarter here at Arrowhead Stadium. Denver 7-2, and they make a strong case for being 9-0. Tough losses to Philadelphia and to the Cleveland Browns. Kansas City hungry for a win that would pull them to 500 at 5-5 and give them hopes of a possible wild card fight. First down as we open the fourth quarter at the 25 of Denver. Here's Saxon. And he's pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 3, and a flag is down. Mecklenburg was the man who made the play, forcing Saxon wide. And again, how many times today Kansas City gets down into that inside the 30 and a penalty?
Number 48, offense, 10-yard penalty. We'll replay the first down.
Todd McNair, the rookie running back, guilty of the hold.
This becomes a real sensitive call right now because Kansas City really doesn't have the guns to be able to get this 20 yards back that easily. So each one of these has got to progressively get 5 or 8 at a shot rather than go for all of it. A real sensitive time in the game because they may not get this field position again.
Now the resourceful new quarterback of the Chiefs, Steve Pelluer, looks at first and 20. They use a draw play to McNair that doesn't do anything at all. Dennis Smith came up quickly from safety to plug the hole. Other scores, Buffalo galloping now, 27-0. Jim Kelly has returned, and they're answering Indianapolis's big win at home against Buffalo. Green Bay has cut the lead. Detroit lead to 24-10. Second and 19. Incomplete, intended for Pete Manley. Wyman Henderson on the coverage, and that pass now really drilled in there.
That's tough. Tough to get the timing of that. Pelluer is still holding the ball too long before he automatically throws it. Now, it's important here, Dick, to get part of it back to get 3 more points on that board. 3 points would be obviously very valuable here. So they've got to try to get 3 points on that board somehow.
A field goal try from this spot would be about 52 yards, so Pelluer trying to help out Lowery, move him closer to those uprights. Well, that whipster gets the ball back in a hurry out of that shotgun. Pelluer fighting for his life again. And there goes the field goal. Mecklenburg again.
Mecklenburg, what a football player. He's the prototype football player. From the outside as a defensive end coming up the field, he's got an excellent man blocking him, but he's so persistent. Now watch his speed and his angle coming to the outside. He's going to cut off Pelluer. Now he's back up in there after him. So he took Pelluer's run away, corralled him, then came up after him.
Took his pass away and then took the field goal away. What a play. That's a 3-point tackle by Mecklenburg. Good burn. Trying to improve on that 31.5-yard average. End over end toward the sideline. And a pretty good kick. That bounces at the 6-yard line. Timeout. 14 minutes left. And we'll return to Arrowhead after these messages from your local station.
Whitey, the greatest adventure of all time. A special presentation of Back to the Future. Plus an exclusive preview of the all-new Back to the Future 2. A 3-hour event. Friday.
If you were a professional engineer, what kind of car would you buy? Something German, Japanese,
Well, get this. In a survey of design engineers, Buick Century and Buick Regal were 2 of the top 5 cars they'd choose to own. These guys aren't stupid. Get the facts. Buick is better.
The front-wheel drive Buick Century. Sticker price from $13,600 and get up to $1,000 factory cash back depending on the option package selected. See Courtesy, Dean, Duncan, Goodman, or Kerr Buick.
What's your first priority? Miss Crowley.
Well, I'm assuming there's product in the pipeline, so...
Assuming, Miss Crowley. Unfortunately, assuming doesn't feed the bulldog.
The top business schools prepare you for every eventuality you will ever encounter in the business world. Except one, business travel. We've got that one covered. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
How can Miss Crowley's 3-person sales force stay on top of her far-flung enterprise?
Getting foreign car repairs can be a problem. But you know what? When it comes to foreign car brakes and mufflers, nobody beats Midas. One foreign car dealer wanted him to make an appointment to fix his brakes. He didn't need one here. Another one wanted to keep his car all day. He'll be done here in no time. And neither of them could come close to our price. Midas guarantees brake shoes and pads for as long as he owns his car. Own a foreign car? Remember, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
A family's journey through cocaine and crime, Monday at 10.
And boy, does he have a rooting section. His dad is here from the Philadelphia area. His wife and Duran Jr. in the stands, and this crowd now trying to help out the defense. Elway to Humphrey, and the rookie is nailed at the line of scrimmage. Neil Smith, 90, one of the first to get there. Cherry, 6 consecutive Pro Bowls. He came here as a free agent punter out of Rutgers, and there's his father, who has been his inspiration, his fan, his lovely wife, as we look to the left there, third in from the aisle, and her sister, almost looks like a twin sister, Faith, the wife, Diane, the sister standing, is Albert Lewis and Diane apparently are quite serious, and there's Duran Jr. in the lap of the young woman next to Diane. He's well supported, and so are these Chiefs. This town's so hungry for the return of the winner. Humphrey going wide.
Hackett made one tackle, complete tackle. He came down that line of scrimmage and just caught that inside out. And when they talk about the most inspirational players on this team, Cherry's name comes up, Dino Hackett. The intensity that he has as a football player. He's a tough, emotional athlete.
He said he dreamed
across that line of scrimmage, right behind the ball. Here he is, right there, right on the money.
Dreamed of being a pro football player back as long as he can remember. People have asked me when I was a little boy, what are you going to be when you grow up? I want to be a pro football player. Big play, 3rd and 4. Elway will throw for it and throws it away. Boy, did Lloyd Burris and Lewis Cooper, they were ready for the pass in the flat, and Elway, smart enough to recognize it, threw it away.
Well, Elway wanted a screen to try to take advantage of that blitz, and he couldn't get the ball off accurately. We had people coming from the outside here. Elway wanted his screen to develop out here, but he couldn't throw an accurate ball. He just couldn't beat people to the punch. Here they come. He has to throw it away. Had no chance. Beautifully executed defense. This attacking kind of defense is very, very effective. Bill Cowher, the young defensive coordinator, 32 years of age, has done a great job with this defense.
Horan sends one of those beautiful spirals towards Nasworthen, who bobbles the ball. And does he get it back? Yes, he does at the 28-yard line. Oh, my.
That was a tough one to try to catch. Back over his shoulder, running right into a coverage man from Denver.
Well, what a punt by Horan from his own goal line, driving it deep 54 yards, then the fumble, and it appeared for a moment that Curtis of Denver would have another recovery. Timeout. Kansas still has the pumpkin.
7 days a week. Scores Plus. Scores plus a whole lot more.
Fans, 50,000 American flags handed out. Celebration of Veterans Day weekend. Biggest score of this week was in East Berlin, where they decided to let him through the wall. Pelluer finds his receiver coming back, Pete Manley, and a first down at the 41-yard line. Now to NFL Live, Bob Costas in New York.
All right, Dick, at one point, the Dolphins trailed 20-3 late in the second quarter at the Meadowlands. Now they've taken the lead. Here's Marino to Scott Schwades. The defensive back gambles, doesn't get the interception. Schwades instead goes 65 yards. It's Marino's third touchdown pass of the day. They just intercepted the Jets. They're inside the New York 5, looking to add to what is now a 24-20 lead. Dick?
And Miami with one of the easiest schedules going home at the end of this season. And Don Shula's club trying to position itself for a run of the playoff. Well, there's Pelluer pulled back before the snap from Webster. And there again, the coordination between center and quarterback and the offense. A new man at the helm cost another 5 yards.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, it's that snap count that Pelluer, I assume, was much different than Kansas City. He's trying to adapt. You see, he's trying to come out of there. And most likely, Dallas had a system where that ball would have been snapped earlier. But these are the kind of growing pains you go through developing a franchise. They're that simple. They're not going to avoid growing pains, regardless of how well they're coached and how intense the team is.
Not only the 75 yards of penalties, but the yardage we didn't get because of the call, not reflected in those numbers.
And a play pass.
Right into coverage and incomplete. Jonathan Hayes, the intended receiver, and Mark Munford, 51, the linebacker, was right there for the Broncos.
Well, Pelluer telegraphed that one all the way. The previous play, he's fine. He throws a nice, accurate ball, but now we're going to be releasing up off the line of scrimmage, and Hayes is going to be running a quick out pattern, but you see the coverage is on both sides of him. The ball was forced inside, and most likely Pelluer didn't know who to go to next. With Hayes covered, number 85 Hayes covered, he should have had someone else to go to, but he forced the ball in. These are just the usual growing pains that can't be avoided.
It'll be a second start in Kansas City, 2nd and 15, shotgun Steve Pelluer. And another whistle on that delay of the game. Couldn't get the play off before the 45 seconds. So frustrated are these Kansas City fans.
Delay of game offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, Kansas City we have a crowd here today, a tremendous crowd. I'm talking to Dino Hackett yesterday. He was indicating that in years past, Denver playing here would have more fans, or at least more support, more banners, more signs than Kansas City. So they're making the conversion. The people are here today. They're just going to have some patience with this organization, this new team.
And there are Bronco fans here. It's a long drive, but many have made it all the way from the Mile High City here to Kansas City. Into the flat and complete. Worthen, and he's out of bounds. Make that Clarence Weathers. Clarence Weathers' first catch of the game. The former Cleveland Brown, and he was with the Indianapolis Colts, played for Schottenheimer in Cleveland.
It's a nifty little receiver.
And he has his tribute to Lou Erber, who is the man who signed him out of Delaware State. His brother Robert was a top draft pick of the New England Patriots, and he came just to work out one day, catch some passes, and Lou Erber said, "Hey, who is this kid? Let's sign him," and did. And his mentor, and Lou Erber, is battling a tough illness in Southern California, and he remembers him as Weathers. McNair unable to handle the pass on third down, and Kansas City, and what was not a well-executed opportunity, that series of downs, will have to punt it away.
A year from now, Pelluer would hit that pass. He'd hit a number of these. Now, maybe not. And that's the problem with a new quarterback, signing him during the year, trying to make it work, trying to patch it together, and still play competitive football. Very, very difficult.
Woods back at the 22. Good burn. Sends out a high twisting kick. Back to the 13. Good coverage. And he is going to be smothered inside the 10.
Well, Kurt Schottenheimer must feel a little bit better with his special teams.
Timeout, 11 minutes to go, and the Broncos lead by a touchdown.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
Kosar. Okoye. Nightmare at the slaughterhouse. Then the Raiders.
He told us 2 days ago how he had to explain to his father in Nigeria that what football was all about and these crazy helmets and all the gear you wear.
Well, he said that the key is for the team with the ball to get across that line and the other people to stop him. Then he said, the dad said, well, why all that equipment? Why all that stuff on your body? He says, sometimes we run into each other very, very hard.
Did you ever have to try to explain this game to someone?
Yeah, you know that story. I had a high school team, an undefeated season going, and we lost the game 7-6. The first game my mother and father-in-law had ever seen, and I had to explain that game for hours afterwards. You don't think I was dying.
Elway hands off to Humphrey, who finds a hole and darts out to the 18-yard line. That's a big play for the Broncos as Kansas City trying to tie up the Broncos deep in their own end. But Humphrey comes through, and Kevin Ross, number 31 in the lineup now, he's the man who can force that ball away, made the hit.
Ross is going to force some tempers because he does hit, and he is a mean football player.
Captain Caveman, as he has been tagged by his teammates.
And this is where frustration might set in for Kansas City because they've played so hard and so long. If Denver moves the ball now, it's going to be tough to come back after really a great effort.
Second and short. Crowd trying to make it tough on Elway, changing his play apparently. Humphrey. No way. Dino Hackett spearheaded the charge. Derek Thomas was there as well. And a flag is down. Might have been delay a game with all the noise. We didn't hear a whistle.
Delay a game penalty. Technically, there was no snap. It's still second down with a 5-yard penalty.
Well, actually, Dan Reeves, that may be the better of the options. It would have been third and about 4. Now it's second and 6.5. Other scores, Miami now 11-point lead. Dolphins would go 7 and 5. Green Bay closing in. They can score that Packer offense. 10 minutes to go here in Kansas City. Second down. Elway going deep for Jackson, and he can't hang on. Lloyd Burris was the man cutting him down low and jarring the ball free.
Burris had to sprint. He almost didn't get there. It was a rotating secondary. Burris had to get to that corner. Nice throw, but he got there. He used his speed to just make it in time. You'll notice the rotation by the corner coming forward, Albert Lewis. Now there's a big hole behind it, looks wide open, but here comes Burris just in time to make the play.
Good throw by Elway. The Broncos' wide receiving corps has yet to catch a pass. Third and 6 and a big play. Oh my, what a hit by Thomas. No fumble. Derek Thomas with his second sack today.
Well, there's that great athletic ability. As we talked, you can remember how we talked about just being a natural pass rusher. as a freshman in college, he could do it better than even Cornelius Bennett. And that quickness, he get his pad down low, real low underneath, and his quickness just gets the job done. Gerald Perry, a good tackle, but not with a foot quickness to stay with Gerald Thomas.
So from the 3-yard line, Horan comes in to punt. Lawrence Taylor is Derek Thomas's idol. He says, someday I got that picture of Lawrence Taylor out there, and 5, 6, 7 years, I want to be as good as Taylor.
He's an extraordinary athlete, a spectacular player.
Worthen stands at the 50. Horan gets it away. High floating kick.
Should be returned
at the 47. And to the 41-yard line, Kansas City in good field position, and these fans are excited at Arrowhead.
Hey, hustlers! I got some more party time tips for you from Extra Gold Draft. First, never party with anything less than the full tilt taste of Extra Gold. Hey, this is one tough beer. Another tip, never shoot pool with a guy that brings his own stick. And never ever shoot with a guy that brings his own table.
Ask for an extra. Go for the full tilt taste.
Nice shot. Thanks.
Now that you know what it feels like to move in the MX-6 Sports Coupe, come sit in the saddle. The MX-6 from Mazda.
Save up to $1,000 on a 1990 Mazda MX-6 now.
No. Over 500,000 times tonight, we'll be delivering in 30 minutes or less. Sometimes we even arrive a little early. So tonight, call us, because nobody delivers better than Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now and get 2 hot pizzas for 1 hot price. Nobody delivers better, so call now.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By Liberty Mutual, for your insurance and financial service needs. America believes in Liberty Mutual. And by Extra Gold Draft, the party time beer with a full tilt taste.
Derek Thomas with 2 sacks today, 9.5. That, for the moment, ties him for the AFC lead. Boy, does he fly in on Elway.
Well, he used his left hand to push the tackle off, to push Perry off.
Flag goes down as Saxon on first down gets to the 36-yard line. And it appears the Chiefs are starting to self-destruct again. Another holding call.
This is a consternation for a coach because he can see his team continually penalized. And in this case, Denver may be having 1 5-yard illegal procedure call. You'd like
Holding, number 85, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat the first down.
Jonathan Hayes is ticketed. At the start today, Leslie O'Neal of the Chargers. He'll play, of course, tonight against the Raiders, the Sunday night game. And Simon Fletcher of the Broncos each had 9.5 sacks to share the AFC lead. But now that young rookie from Alabama, 22-year-old Derek Thomas, has 2 scintillating sacks today to move himself up into contention for that lead. Now first and 20. Pelluer, off play action. Finds his man on the sidelines, Herman Hurd at the 30-yard line, and that'll be close to a first down. A man, Herman Hurd, who wanted to play for Dan Reeves and the Broncos, the Denver high school product who went to Southern Colorado and was a 3rd-round pick in '84 by these Chiefs.
Hurd moved outside as a wide receiver, but Denver was in a soft zone and allowed that comeback pattern to develop.
Pete Manley having trouble on the near side hearing the count. Saxon goes left side, runs out of room, out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Saxon's mad at himself because he saw a spot to cut up, and he took the option of going to the sideline and ran out of room. He really had a chance to make something happen there.
Schottenheimer said that this young back from San Jose State reminds him of Ernest Biner, who he was dearly in love with in Cleveland. He used to say, other than Kozar, Biner, the other man I just couldn't trade. Of course, he left, and Cleveland immediately did trade Biner to Washington.
Well, the knock on Saxon coming out of college was his speed, but it certainly looks good today. I don't see any problem with that.
Second down and 5. Saxon to the right side, a rare chance at the right side, and there's not much there for him. Rick Dennison, one of the inside linebackers, along with Carl Mecklenburg, in on the tackle, and the clock continues to run. 8.5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Denver leads 13-6.
Mecklenburg is on the top of the screen, moving laterally. Now here's a real veteran player. Everything had happened, but he would have been there had they not got him down earlier. This is a key play. You'll notice this time 2 tight ends and 2 backs, and the pass have been going to 4 wide receivers.
It goes to Hurd. Going to be close. He's to the 20-yard line. The fans on the far side cheer. They have a better angle. They thought he made it across the 20. Let's see where they spot the ball. Gene Barth is going to measure.
Well, this was good judgment on the part of the Chiefs. It was short yardage play, and this time they're going to run their basic counter play with a guard and tackle pulling. Again, Alt through the line, making a great block on Mecklenburg, and that was the difference. 2 fine players, Mecklenburg and Alt, colliding. Alt getting the job done.
Marty Schottenheimer has not used Christian Okoye. He said it's strictly up to the athlete. I'll ask him before the game how Okoye feels, and he'll tell me yes or no, basically. I don't want to play someone who doesn't feel they're close to 100%. And apparently Okoye, and we saw him try to warm up, told him I just can't go. Otherwise, we might be seeing this great 260-pound back who runs a 4.40.
Well, if they can win without Okoye, it'll develop that much more confidence and character in this team.
They need a touchdown to tie. 13-6, the ball batted right back in Pelluer's face. And it appeared to be Simon Fletcher who was there.
Each call now is absolutely critical because they need 10 yards in these 3 downs. Now, Pelluer is looking to his left. You see his head looking toward us, looking right at us. Now he's telegraphing the throw, and there's the block.
And Pete Manley thought he was going to get a big one.
Oh, he started a slant go pattern. He had his man beat. No question about that. Wyman Henderson bit on that slant. It would have been a big one.
That's a play they've been setting up all day long, running the slants with both wide receivers. He's isolated out on Henderson again. And he throws to Manley. Spins away. Good move. To the 3.
Giving a lot of room in front, and they get the quick out right in front of him. This is excellent play calling.
And terrific running by Pete Manley after the catch. Finally, Fletcher denies the touchdown. First and goal at the 4-yard line.
Al Saunders, the former Charger head coach, is now coaching these receivers, and I think you're seeing progress. He's one of the really sharp pass offense coaches in football.
4 yards from a tying score. And a throw for it. Incomplete, and wisely so. That, had it been complete, would have been a loss as they went to the tight end, Alfredo Roberts.
Denver has a history of playing great defense inside their own 10-yard line. A good part of it would be Mecklenburg. People like that can really go to a ball. And they've got those safety men to make the stops. This is a tough spot for Kansas City, especially wasting a down like that. They'll need that down with a run.
Mark Addix, wearing 61, is now a tight end on the left side. They'll go with 3 tight ends. And the handoff is to Saxon, who is drilled held at the 5-yard line as Michael Brooks came up from a linebacker spot and made a textbook tackle.
Well, you're going to see a big tackle right here, back up inside. Unblocked man is going to go right to the ball.
You should have gotten him there, Bill. His responsibility.
Well, they really can't get a man on him. And they have to hit there before he gets there. Most often, you like the center to just maybe get part of him. Now they've gone to the 4 wide receivers, and this is playing right up the alley for Denver because they're great at this, rushing 3 men.
Into the end zone, touchdown, Emile Harry. Washington's Pelluer to Stanford's Harry, and it's 13-12.
Emile Harry has been a clutch receiver. He's bright and smooth, and he knows the game of football. He's learned it through experience. The kind of football he played at Stanford, the pass offense, a good feel for it.
And there's the tying extra point, 192 PATs in a row for Lowery as Harry congratulated on the sidelines. It's a new game at 13.
Harry is going to really straight up the field and cross, and he's going to have 2 defenders in the area, and he's going to split both of them. Cuts right around to the inside. Great move, great timing.
5:36 to go at Arrowhead.
In a world of distraction.
Touchdown was a touchdown of first for Kansas City. Steve Pelluer's first throwing touchdown pass and Emile Harry's first touchdown catch of the year. He leads the Chiefs in total receptions coming in with 21. That his first TD grab. It's tied at 13. Lowery kicks it off. Oh, good kick. Chris Woods. And it'll be a touchback at the 20. NFL Live, 12:30 next Sunday. We'll start our NBC doubleheader. So join Bob and OJ and the gang in New York for all the latest football news. And then we hope you'll join us for an outstanding lineup of action. Bill and I will be at Cleveland Stadium as Marty Schottenheimer brings these Chiefs in against the Browns. The Chargers go against the Steelers. Miami getting better each week, apparently, against Dallas. Second game, Raiders in Houston. You think there'll be some hitting in that one? And how about Seattle struggling, but a chance to make amends as they visit the tough New York Giants. Now it's in the hands of Elway and the Broncos. 5:24 to go. All timeouts left for Denver. Humphrey runs into Dino Hackett at the 24-yard line. Second down and 6. And, of course, if one man has tormented the coaching life of Marty Schottenheimer, especially while in Cleveland, it was the guy wearing number 7 in white today, John Elway. Remember, first and 98 to go in the playoffs that Elway engineered the drive that tied the game when Cleveland was so close to going to the Super Bowl, and then Denver won in overtime. Can he stop Elway today? Second and 6. Humphrey gets 2. Mike Bell, the veteran from Colorado State. Chris Martin and a pack of red bring up 3rd and 3.5. Lots of scoring elsewhere. Washington in a defensive struggle trying to beat the Eagles. And Green Bay is pulled within 4 after the Lions led 24-3. And this crowd wants defense. open man, Mark Jackson, and a first down. Oh, that Elway. They had him for a sack. He was able to wiggle free with his strength and fire back across field.
He was sacked. There's no question about it. Mike Shanahan indicates, and we agree completely, he turns a sack into a touchdown. Look at this. Everybody's got position on him. Now look at him throw back to his right, going to his left. And he has a sixth sense about finding people at the last instant.
Here's the fullback, Alexander, and is he drilled? Derek Thomas shooting in from his linebacker post to hit the 232-pound fullback and drop him in his tracks.
And Thomas and Moss make a big play. See Thomas coming underneath the block, right there, taking on the ball carrier with Moss right back up over the top. Thomas is playing this game like he's played for 10 years as a pro. He goes underneath the blocker and cuts everything off.
He says, I don't even know my moves. I don't know where I got them. They're just instinctive. And 2nd and 10. Fake to Humphrey. Smith can't drop Elway, who passes it to Kay, and the tight end gets short yardage to the 37. And again, you think Elway doesn't have strong legs. Oh, you just need more than one man to get him on the ground.
Well, that would stop the drive. Neil Smith had Elway dead to rights. Play fake, coming outside. And here's a fine athlete. So Elway sets him up, then moves on him, then throws the ball. But again, Kansas City's got great pursuit and movement to the ball.
Neil Smith, 55 pounds heavier than the quarterback, couldn't get him down.
Well, here's a critical play. All of them are, but this one in particular, there's just enough time for Denver to drive for a score, but this is 3rd down and 9 yards to go.
And we'll have time to think about it, as will the offenses and defenses. 2-minute timeout in Kansas City.
AT&T, the right choice. The Chicago Bears. Okoye, nightmare at the slaughterhouse. Then the Raiders, the Oilers, and the House of Pain. A frightening football doubleheader next Sunday.
A crowd of 76,245. That's one of the magnificent stadiums in the league. It's 17 years old, but you'd think it's only a couple of years since it's been constructed. It was after this stadium that they modeled Giant Stadium. Marty Schottenheimer and Dan Reeves in another coaching duel, and it comes down to the final 2 minutes, tied at 13. Denver looking at 3rd down and 7.
Denver has the quick receivers. They've got Sewell, number 30. He's in there. Take a look. He's in the backfield now with Elway. Kansas City showing blitz.
Elway under pressure. Throws downfield, complete to Jackson. And Jackson in the open field, brought down at the 40-yard line. And again, Elway using his mobility to buy time. He eluded the rush. Mike Bell was in on him, and Gene Barth was the man who was tackled by Bell.
Well, look at the clean, obvious clip behind the line of scrimmage here. Look at this. Right in front of the referee. Right in front of him. In fact, the man was blocked into him.
Illegal use of the hands. They're directly in the back, but in that situation, protecting the passer, they are more liberal.
It was a complete contact in the back.
Timeout.
There is a point.
Lee Ashley, the former Viking, made the tackle.
Elway, 2 great plays, avoiding not only a sack that would basically put the game in overtime, but completing big passes off what would normally be a sack to the human quarterback.
David Treadwell, the place kicker who took Rich Carlos's job, his longest this year is 46 yards. Humphrey hit in the backfield. Chris Martin, another ex-Viking, made the stop. Here's a guy that was available on waivers a year ago. Martin, who has become, in the words of Schottenheimer, you have to get some votes for Pro Bowl. He has been a solid player for me.
He's played beautifully. From the inside out, people are going to sift in between those pulling linemen right there. 2 people, Martin.
52 seconds to go. Timeout.
Liberty Mutual presents the automobile accident that never happened. In helping to pioneer safety belts, we made driving safer for everyone.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
This is a machine designed to make travel easier. And these are its most important parts. The men and women of American Airlines.
Yeah, this is where, and I'd like to just follow up on what you said, Bill Walsh, about John Elway and the words of Mike Shanahan and Dan Reeves. Shanahan said there are a lot of quarterbacks, when everything goes perfectly, that can't make the big play. Elway, when there's a breakdown and it isn't perfect, can get you a touchdown.
He can make a play out of a disaster. He's done it over and over throughout his career, and that's what Marty Schottenheimer is staring at right now. He knows what is most likely to happen here. Elway moving out of the pocket, people chasing him hitting somebody late down the field.
3rd and 9. There's that shovel pass to Sewell, and it works again. And it might go really big, all the way to the 8-yard line. Steve Sewell, from the start of this game, whenever he's in the lineup, he's making big plays, and that one was worth 31 yards.
Beautifully called, no question about it. It's a well-conceived play. Sewell will step away from Elway, then come back in front of him.
Bill Moss, the big nose tackle, trailing the play, got him from behind, just inside the 9-yard line, and now you wonder about, well, they're just going to let the clock run down, 6-5, and they'll call time right in here. And they're not going to waste any drama at all. Here comes David Treadwell to try what is not much more than an extra point. Treadwell has kicked a short one that started the game after a long kickoff return with a kickoff to start the game. Treadwell hit on an 18-yarder when Kansas City stacked up the Broncos at the 1-yard line. This one will be a touch longer, 26 yards.
Well, again, Elway making great plays. Spontaneous plays.
You know, so often fans, critics, writers, broadcasters, when they vote for awards, they look at statistics. And when you look at John Elway's numbers, they're not very impressive. But the one number that really is, wins and losses. He wins.
His fourth quarter drives, his resourcefulness. He's a superb football player.
Now, Bill, there's another added part of this drama. Keith Bishop, the normal snapper, is not here. He's back in Denver, so Keith Karts will snap the ball. Kubiak to hold. And now Kansas City will try to ice the kicker Treadwell with a timeout. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. If you rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Kansas City Chiefs, and
most likely to lose this game, but what progress they've made. Naturally, the most valuable player, a lot of people would say Elway, but Sewell, what a great player, carrying the ball on his reverses, catching that shovel pass, catching the ball down the field. Steve Sewell, most valuable player.
5 catches for 84 yards today, and when they've needed the tough yards. Now here it is for the game. Denver goes 8-2.
Well, you know, Kansas City is frustrated, no question about it. All of these people have come out. But I learned through my experiences, they're making a lot of progress. When you lose like this, you're still making dramatic progress. So Marty Schottenheimer and his organization, they can still feel that they're moving toward winning football.
Not over. 1 second left. They stopped it at 4 seconds instead of 3, and that second allows a kickoff now. And Treadwell, head down. And the skinny guy says, this is what I dreamed about. And Reeves coolly watches Treadwell punch it through. But Steve Sewell and John Elway and company are the ones who made it happen.
Dan Reeves is in the process of changing the team personnel-wise, even changing a style defensively, and still winning. It takes organization, it takes talent, but there's the insights that this man has that puts him above and beyond virtually every other person in the coaching profession.
Patrick Boland, his team going through incredible change offensively and defensively. A lot of rookies, a lot of popular veterans were cut free. That was part of the torment of Reeves, saying this has been his toughest year of coaching. But what changes they've made. They brought in bigger players. They brought in the exuberance of youth and the talent. Took a chance on Bobby Humphrey as a supplemental #1 draft. And are 8-2 atop the AFC. Now the kickoff, and they're not going to kick it high here, you wouldn't think.
Take much.
As soon as it's touched, the 1 second will tick away, and there it is. The Broncos 16, Kansas City 13. The Chiefs still ever so close. A disappointing now 4-6, and John Elway finding a way to win again. Gives the Denver Broncos coach Dan Reeves a heart-pounding win here in Kansas City today, a place where he's had his troubles, both men, Reeves and Elway. But they go home winners on this Sunday.
Performance, for some people, is a way of life. For them, there's Speed Stick Antiperspirant. Nothing glides on drier. Nothing protects you against wetness and odor in a bigger way. Speed Stick, the wide stick.
Many men have sensitive skin that's irritated by shaving. Aftershave Skin Conditioner is clinically proven to soothe and relieve razor-scraped skin. Sensible care for sensitive skin. After.
By Menon.
Somewhere between your head and your heart exists the perfect luxury car, where performance and amenities are engineered to create an experience so free of stress, it almost makes you wonder if the car is responding to your touch or your thoughts. Introducing